Hey guys, welcome. Today I'm talking to you about 5 ways that you're probably not using Inkscape. If you know me, you know that I love using Inkscape. I've been using it for a few years now. If you're not familiar with Inkscape, it is a digital graphic software that lets you make vector graphics. What's so great about vector graphics as opposed to raster is that they are scalable. So it just means you can blow them up, you can shrink them down, and you don't lose the quality. And Inkscape is a great software to use to make this, just because one reason it's free to use, it's open source, meaning that you don't have to pay like a monthly subscription like you would for other programs. So there's like nothing stopping you from jumping in and trying it out if you haven't already tried it out. If you have already tried it out, then you probably know some of the ways that I'm going to talk about that you can use Inkscape, but you probably don't know all of them. The reason I'm saying that is because I got an email this week. Good morning, Monica. I got an email this week asking me how can you save or make PNG files in Inkscape. And I thought, oh, I guess I figured since I've been using it, I just figured, well, everyone probably already knows that, but no. And that gave me an idea. I said, okay, why don't I make a video about that? So I'm going to talk to you about the 5 digital files that you can use in Inkscape. Some of them are ways that you can save files. Some of them are ways that you can export files. Some of them might be surprising to you. So number one, of course, is going to be SVG files. If you know me, you've already heard me talking about them so much. I make SVG files and I sell them in my Etsy shop. So that's like one of the obvious, I'd say, ways, or maybe not obvious, obvious ways that you can use Inkscape is to make SVG files. Number 2 is to make DXF files. If you don't know what DXF files are, they are digital cutting files. So a lot of people that use my files, my SVG files, they buy them, like I said, from my Etsy shop, but I sell them in a pack. So in that pack, you get several different sorts of files because I know not everybody uses the same program. And I do have some clients who use Silhouette, and depending on what level, what do I want to say, the package that you have, I think there's different, like the basic package, the designer edition, that's the word, edition. There's the basic edition and there's the designer edition to those cutting machines. And if you only have the software, which is the basic edition, I think you can't open certain files like SVGs. Correct me if I'm wrong, let me know. But I do know I have had people tell me, oh, I bought these files and I thought I could use them, but I don't have the right kind of software. And I have heard that if you have the basic edition, you can use DXF files with them. So those are just like, think of it like an outline. And so instead of like an SVG where you have like the whole image plus the color, the DXF files will give you the same outline of the image, but you just won't have the color. So it just looks like, a cookie cutter kind of thing. Which you can still use that software. You can still use that in your software and cut out the design on your machine. So number 1 was SVG files. Number 2 are DXF files. Number 3 are PDFs. I know a lot of people use like Adobe for PDFs, but if you don't have Adobe, you can also use Inkscape to save your files as PDFs. And if you have the new version, you can also add links to them. So if you have a PDF like printable that you made and you don't have Adobe, or you don't have the, what's it called, the editable version of Adobe, you can use Inkscape to save that file as a PDF with links if you like. And yeah, send those PDFs to someone or sell them if you like. So that was number 3. Number 4 is a little like a workaround. I'm going to say they are Adobe Illustrator files. You can use, okay, just to caveat this, you can import Adobe Illustrator files into Inkscape. A lot of people don't know that. You cannot directly save them as Adobe Illustrator files. So once you've got your file, you put it into Inkscape and you've worked with it, you can't save it exactly as an Adobe Illustrator file again. There is a workaround to it. You can save it as a PDF and then just change the what's it called? The extension. The extension. Why am I having a hard time saying that word? The extension, and make it an AI file. That should work. I think it works with, like, most times. I don't know, maybe depending on what version of Illustrator you have, but that's a workaround if you want to use Illustrator files. Let's say someone sends you a file and asks you to add some text to it or personalize it. That's a way that you can do that in Inkscape. So let me know if you've heard of any of these so far. If you're like, you're not telling me anything new, let me know. But I did know, like, I've learned about some of these, through the years by using the program. So the last way I'm going to show you is that you can use PNG files in there. So you can, let's say, you can make your file as an SVG file. You can also export it from Inkscape as a PNG file. You might not know this because it's not on the list of things that you can save as directly when you click like Save As in Inkscape, but it is an option. So let me know if you have any questions. If I'm going too fast or anything, let me know, because sometimes, I'm talking and I feel like, well, I know these things, so maybe I'm talking too fast and other people don't know. Oh, thank you for letting me know that about, so Monica says that is good to know about the PDF files. Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that you could do, you can make PDF files using Inkscape. So that is a good workaround in case you don't have, what did I say, Adobe, what is that thing called for Adobe for PDF? Like, I'm losing my, well, not the regular one, not the standard one, but the Adobe Deluxe, I would say. I'm sure it has like some other name. So let me take you over. So when you're in Inkscape and you want to save a file as a PNG file, I'm going to show you using a shortcut. Oh, little side note, I conducted a poll last week asking my readers and viewers what kind of products or what they would be interested in. I gave two options. One was Inkscape Shortcuts ebook, and the second one was a course on creating what was it? It was a course on creating a side hustle business. Anyway, long story short, the Inkscape Shortcuts ebook had the most votes. So, ta-da, that's what I am working on for you guys. And I will tell you a little bit more about that at the end of this. But it's all about, I guess, no mystery there, shortcuts to use Inkscape. And it'll be like, in a downloadable ebook format. You can print that out, laminate it, use it. So let me show you how you can take this SVG file. So right now it is a scalable vector graphic. Like, let me just show you. So if I increase it, decrease the size by shrinking it, you can see it doesn't lose the quality of it. It stays basically intact. So what I'll do is I'll select it, and I will use the shortcut of Control-Shift-E, and that opens up the Export PNG Image menu. You can see it right here on the right side of my screen. It just popped up a new menu. And this menu lets me save this design that you see here. I'm going to save it as a PNG file. If I had lots of different images on here, let's say, like, let me duplicate this. I made a few of them, right? Okay, another little shortcut, Control-D, duplicate that again. Let me change the colors just so you can see that we're working with a few things. So I've made 3 separate images here, and I want to export them as PNG files. Right now, I've only selected one. So if I look at the menu bar here on the right, I can see that it says selection. And what it's going to do is if I go through and I export it as, it's only going to export the image that's selected, the one that you can see the little, the little dotted lines around it. If I want to select all of them, I can use drawing. Um, I don't like to because sometimes I have several things on my screen and maybe I might forget about them. So what I do is I just select each design. And now when I go to export it, I'm going to be able to export all three of these together. So then I'll come down to file name and I will choose a name. Let me see if I can go all the way through this. Let me pick, when I click on export as, it's not going to export it right away. This is like in 2 steps. So I'm going to have to pick a name for it. Let's say Inkscape. I'll just give it a name, whatever name. Inkscape Draw 3, I'll call it. And I've made sure that it says save as type PNG. Then I'll click on save. And now I'm going to scroll down a little bit more to this button where it says export. And then I'm going to click on that. It's going to take like a couple seconds and it has exported my PNG file. You just have to remember to do both of these actions, because if you just click export as and you think, okay, you know what, I'm done, I've exported it, you're going to be sad, you might be crying because you might have lost your work. Well, you probably won't lose it because you'll save it, but it's not going to be exported as a PNG unless you also go and click the export button. Let me come back to you guys. Let me see what questions I have here. Okay, I've got Andrea asking me, can I still do the side hustle webinar ebook later, please? I will. I am considering that because it did get a lot of votes too. And since it also is another passion of mine, and I figured, okay, you know what? People are asking for it. I will consider doing it. I don't want to give like a definitive date yet, but it is on the back burner. But it will come out. Hold me to it. All right, let me see if I can. Let's come back to this Inkscape screen, and I want to show you that PNG that that I just saved. All right, so I'm back here in Inkscape, and you know what? Let me just select these, make them smaller, just so I want to get them out of the way. Yeah. The only reason, I know you might be thinking, okay, why is it changing like in dimensions? Is because I'm not holding down the control button. I just wanted to like make them smaller and get it out of the way. Okay, so now when I go to File, if I go to Import, cross my fingers and hope that it's there. It's good also if you remember where you saved your documents. Here it is. So I go in here, I clicked import, and now I can see the file that I just saved, the PNG file that I named Inkscape Draw 3. I'm gonna click open. I'll click OK. And in a couple seconds, ta-da, there it is. That's the PNG file that I just saved, and I was able to bring it back. So as you can see, it has a transparent background, which is great if you want to use it for to put on like a t-shirt for sublimation, as a sublimation. If you want to send it to someone to show them that, you know, that transparent background. So actually I did this, like I said, I got an email from someone asking me how to to their clients. And so they asked me, how do I, show them an example? Because if you send someone the SVG file, sometimes you'll just get like a black or dark background. So the PNG option lets you send it to someone. So I was able to show her that, walk her through how to do that, and she was like really excited and happy about it. And I figured, you know what, let me come on here and show you guys how to do that too, so you can also be like really excited and happy about it. At least I hope so. Oh, I'm sorry, Monica, the banner was in the way. All right. Let me see if I can scroll up there. Let me know if you found that helpful, if you think that could be useful to you. Let me also know, did you know about all of these 5 digital files that you can make within Inkscape? I already know that, one person didn't because she wrote to me and asked me for it. What else? So if, I'll just repeat them again in case like you missed it, in case you're just coming in like late. I just went over the 5 digital files that you can use with Inkscape. The first one I mentioned was SVG files, of course, DXF files. Number 3 was PDF files. Number 4 is Adobe Illustrator files, which you can import into Inkscape. You can't directly export them and save them out, but you can use a workaround that I mentioned before to save your Adobe Illustrator files. And the last one was PNG files. So I also wanted to mention, let me go back and see if there's any questions, because I see like some buttons. Okay, great. All right, Monica says she didn't know about all of those ways. I'm glad you found that helpful. Yeah, I figured, okay, what can I go and talk about on here that would be helpful to people? So if you like that, I think I'm going to be coming out with some other videos to show you like little tips in Inkscape that you could use. Like I said, things that sometimes I think are obvious to me might not be obvious to everyone. And I have to remember that, I didn't know some of these things at one point either. So let me also mention to you while we're here and talking about Inkscape and all of the great things that you can do with them, with it. I also have, like I mentioned before, the Inkscape Shortcuts ebook coming out soon, since it was the winner of all of the votes. Let me get this out of the way. It's called Inkscape Ready, Set, Go, and it's going to be an ebook with simple and quick shortcuts to ramp up your design skills in Inkscape. So it'll be a file that you can download and print out if you like, laminate it if you like, keep it next to your computer so that anytime you have a question or like you're, stuck on something in Inkscape, you don't know what to do, you can have all of these shortcuts ready for you. In the description here, there is a link that you can order the ebook now if you like. It will be ready later in a couple weeks. You'll have all that information at that link. You can find out more about it by just clicking the link in the description. If you have any other questions, let me know. Leave a comment if you think that you know someone else who could benefit from this, that would like to know about these Inkscape little secret tips. Share this video with them. They would probably love you forever. They probably already do love you forever, but they would love you even more. Let me see if there's any other questions, because I know there's a lag time. I say that every time just because sometimes I forget myself that, oh yeah, I asked people if they had questions and then I just like cut off and then the questions came in later. So I'm gonna see if there's any other questions. I don't see any new ones coming in, but just to remind you that, test this out. If you have, if you're at home with your computer right now, go ahead and open up Inkscape. Try any of those things that I just showed you. Let me know which one was your favorite. Let me know if any of them were new for you. And, oh, you are Very welcome, Christy. Christy says, thanks for the info. You are welcome. I always try to be helpful on here. I always try to come up with things that, I think you could benefit from, especially if I get one person that asks me about it. I figure, okay, if one person is asking, there's probably other people that would like to know this information too. So, it's good to share. Right. I don't see any other questions coming on. I'm not going to keep you hanging around if you don't have any questions for me. But just to remind you, if you are interested in the Inkscape Shortcuts ebook, if you were one of the people that voted for it, there is a link in the description where you can find out more about it and you can order it now. That should be very helpful because I will have a full list of really handy shortcuts for you to use in Inkscape, because I know I've been using Inkscape for years now and there's so much information on there, especially if you're a beginner and it's like the first time you open it and you see all of these buttons and you're just thinking, okay, I'm just like never ever going to figure this thing out. If at that time I could have had something to help me out with, like, just really handy shortcuts instead of like, trying to like Google something at 1 o'clock in the morning and like not finding it, or finding like really old information, that's just like the worst. I would have loved to have something like this. If you don't know as well, Inkscape has just been updated. So there is version 1.0. So all of these shortcuts will include all of the things in the new version as well. So I don't see any other questions coming in. I just want to thank you again for joining me on this live. I will see you again next week, and enjoy the rest of your day. See you.